Good morning, students. Welcome to new academic year. I am Dr. Y. Venuprasad, Assistant Professor, Giriraj Government College, Nizamabad. Today, we are going to discuss about the syllabus and a question paper pattern in semester 1 in economics syllabus. So, in this economics syllabus, first semester, the name of the paper for the semester is microeconomics. In this microeconomics, syllabus was divided into 5 modules, and each module there are number of topics. In this class, I am going to explain the module-wise syllabus of the microeconomics. In module 1, introduction and consumer behavior. In this module, we are going to know about the introduction of economics and nature and scope of economics, and the concept of demand, law of demand and its limitations, and the concept of utility. And there are two types of utilities are there. So in this module, we are going to know about these two types of utility, concept of cardinal and ordinal utilities. In consumer behavior, the behavior of the consumer is explained with the help of these cardinal and ordinal way of utilities. So in this chapter, in this module, ordinal utility analysis, properties of indifference curves, concepts of budget line, equilibrium of consumer, price consumption curve, income consumption curve, and in indifference curve analysis, how to derive demand curve with the help of ordinal utility analysis. And the concepts of price, income, and substitution effects in indifference curve analysis. And separation of price effect into income and substitution effects with the help of compensating variation method and cost differences method. These are the module 1 syllabus. In this syllabus, mainly ordinal utility analysis are highlighted. So in +2 level, you have already studied about the cardinal utility analysis, law of diminishing marginal utility and law of equi marginal utility. So in UG first semester, so these topics are not included in our module and in our syllabus, but it is also part of the microeconomics. But in this syllabus, these two topics are not there. Don't worry about that. And in our syllabus, in only nature and scope and concept of demand and law of demand we are introduced to as an introduction purpose. You have already know about these two topics in intermediate level, and the remaining ordinal utility analysis. All the theories are all the theories with respect to the how the consumer behavior are explained is with the help of ordinal utility are explained in this model. So now we are going to next module. This module is related to production analysis. In this module, the topics are concepts of production and the factors of production. In this topic, we are going to know what is production and how many factors are there in production process. And the next topic, linear and homogeneous production function. In this production function, how the factors are mixed to use in this process of production. And next, properties of Cobb-Douglas production function. There are so many production functions explained by the different economists, but the famous one is out of them is Cobb-Douglas production function. In this syllabus, we are going to know about the Cobb-Douglas production functions properties. And the next topic in this module, production analysis, is concepts of short run and long run production functions. So there are different ways in production process in short run and long run. Production functions are also different from short run period and long run period. So in this topic, we all are know about the production functions related to short run and as well as long run. And next topic is properties of isoproduct cars and the concept of factor price line and analysis of least cost input combination and concepts of expansion path and economic region of production. These all topics are is almost all equal to the indifference curve analysis, but the explanation is different. In indifference curve analysis, we are explaining with the consumer behavior. In this isoproduct or isocont curves, we explain how producer behaves in the process of production. So in this chapter, the properties of isoproduct curves and factor price line and least cost combination, expansion part, and economic region of production. This all the matter of this figures related to this is almost all equal to the figures related to in ordinal utility analysis. But the main difference is that ordinal utility analysis explained with the consumer point of view. In this isocont or properties of isoproduct curves are explained on production point of view or producer's point of view. How producers are behaving in the process of production are generally mainly explained in this module. So last one is concepts of returns to scale and types of returns to scale. So if we want to increase, if a producer wants to increase the production, they get some returns to increase the scale of production. So in this topic, in this module, in this topic returns to scale, we know the how the producers getting returns to scale and the different types of returns to scales also in this topic. So in module 3, so first module we are know about we studied the consumer behavior. In second module we studied producers behavior. In third module cost and revenue analysis. After producing to there are number of costs incurred in production process. So these costs are borne by the producers or companies which have produced that products. So to sell these products, these companies are getting revenue. So in this module, how the costs and revenues are there. We explain the analysis of the costs and revenues in this model. In cost concepts, there are different types of concepts are there. Accounting concept and real cost concept and opportunity cost or explicit cost and as well as total fixed cost, total variable cost, total cost, average fixed cost, and average variable cost, and marginal cost. So all these concepts or costs are studied in this chapter, especially to understand the next modules or markets. We have to know these concepts, cost concepts, as well as the revenue concepts also. So especially the relationship between average and marginal cost curves are to be studied to understand the behavior of markets. So, and as well as derivation of a long run average curve are also important to understand the markets. So these cost and revenue analysis are useful to understand the markets behavior. There are different types of markets. We will go to the next module about that markets. So in this after cost analysis, so there are another topics also there to study in this module. Internal and external economics also there. So we have to study this economies of scale, internal and external. And in point of view, the revenue concepts, there are total revenue, average revenue, and marginal revenue concepts also there in this module. And the relationship between average and revenue, marginal revenue are also most important to understand the markets. And the price elasticity of demand also plays key role in uh, in the behavior of markets. So these concepts are important to understand the market structure. So next, these are the module 3, and then module 4. The module 4 topic is market structure. In this market structure, there are broadly the markets are categorized into two. So in this module, we studied the perfect and imperfect competitions. Okay? These markets are categorized into two categories broadly. So we have to study these two categories. First one is perfect competition. Second one is imperfect competition. There are number of there are another the imperfect competition markets are categorized into another number of types. So we will discuss on that also. So first of all, in this module, we have to know the what is market and the concepts of market and the classification of markets. And next to this, perfect competition, characteristics and price determination under perfect competition is included in this module. The other topics are not included with respect to perfect competition. We have to study only the characters and price determination under perfect competition only. So in imperfect competition, there are so many types, but in this syllabus, the main imperfect competition markets are we are going to study. There are four main concepts are there. They are monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and duopoly. So in monopoly, we have to study equilibrium of the firm under monopoly and the price discrimination of firm under monopoly and the degrees of price discrimination under monopoly. These three concepts are there in monopoly, the topic of monopoly. And the next topic in imperfect competition is monopolistic competition. In this monopolistic competition, we have to know about the characteristics of monopolistic competition, concepts of product differentiation in monopolistic competition, and the selling costs under monopolistic competition. And another topic in this monopolistic competitions is analysis of resource wastage under this competition. So the next type of imperfect competition is oligopoly. In this module, we are going to study the characteristics of oligopoly and the reasons of price rigidity in non-collusive oligopoly. Only these two topics have to study in this module, in this oligopoly topic only. Characteristics of oligopoly, reasons for price rigidity in non-collusive oligopoly. And the last topic in this module is duopoly. So in this duopoly, there are 2, 3 or 4 types of modules are there, but we have to study only Augustine's Cournot modern version of duopoly only. Cournot's version of duopoly only included in this syllabus. So due to the burden of the syllabus, there are another number of topics are there in this perfect and imperfect competitions with respect to different types of markets. But the main topics are included in this module. So in last module, the topic of this module is analysis of business firm and profit. We have to know about the business firm and the profit of the business firm. In this module, the topics covered in the syllabus is first one, characteristics of business firm, and next, objectives of business firm, profit maximization, sales revenue maximization, market share maximization, and growth maximization. These topics are included in the syllabus. There are another theories are there in the objectives of business firm, but we have to study these topics only in semester 1 of our syllabus. And lastly, in module 5, the profit concepts, accounting profit concepts and economic profit concept, and break-even point and profit volume analysis. All these topics are included in module 5. So these are the 5 modules in the semester 1 syllabus. We will come from first module once again. First module, introduction to consumer behavior. In this topic, mainly nature, scope, demand, and ordinal utility analysis are there. And the second module, production analysis. In this unit, production concepts, factors of production, production functions, and isoproduct curves and returns to scales are there. In third module, cost and revenue analysis. In this module, the different types of costs and revenue are included in the syllabus, and economies of sale, internal and external economies are also there in module 3. In module 5, in this module, market structures, mainly perfect and imperfect competitions. In imperfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and duopoly markets are included in the syllabus. In module 5, analysis of business firm and profits are included in module 5. So in this module, characteristics and objectives of business firm and the profit concept, different types of profit concepts are included in this module. So this is the syllabus for first year microeconomics for UG to BA and BSc economics students also. These syllabus are BA and BCom BA and BSc students only. So reference books, we have a number of reference books in our college library. So in this reference book section, ML Seth Microeconomics, ML Jingan Microeconomics, HL Ahuja Modern Microeconomics, House Chinese Modern Microeconomics, Stonier and Hague Microeconomics, Salvatore Microeconomics, Chom Series Microeconomics, Pendic Microeconomics, Gregory Mankiw Principles of Microeconomics are the some of the reference books. There are another number of reference books are there. Some are mentioned in this slide only, and Telugu medium students can study the Telugu Academy Sukshma Ardhashastram పుస్తకాలు చదవచ్చు వాళ్ళు. So for English medium, these books, first 3-4 reference books are enough for understanding this syllabus and to know the depth in the syllabus. And there are English medium books also there in Telugu medium. Sorry, for English medium students, Telugu Academy English medium books also there. So next, we have to go to the pattern of evaluation. What is the pattern of evaluation? In our college, we got autonomous status. So the model of question paper pattern is total marks 100 marks. In this 100 marks, we have categorized into two groups: external evaluation or external examination, and internal examination or internal evaluation. So we have to know the external evaluation process and internal evaluation process. If a student wants to pass in this syllabus, in this subject, he has to got total 40 marks. Out of 100, a student has to got 40 marks. In this 100 marks, 70 marks are allotted to external valuation or external examination or theory examination. External is nothing but it is a theory examination. And 30 marks are allotted to internal evaluation or internal examination. So we have to know the process of external examination and internal examination. So in external examination, the question paper pattern is in this question paper, there are two sections are there. In section A, total number of 10 questions are given under this section A. Student has to attempt 5 out of 10 only. He can attempt any question, any 5 questions in 10 given 10 questions. In this, 10 questions are given, are distributed to 2 questions to each module. We have 5 modules there in our syllabus. In this section A, total 10 questions are given. These 10 questions are taking divided to modules, 2 questions for each module. So each module compulsory 2 questions are given in this section. 2 questions are given for each module in this section. Total 5 modules, 5 into 2, 10 questions are given. Student has to attempt or has to write 5 questions only. Suppose a student attempted more than 5, the least got question, if a student least marks are not included in calculation of the total marks. So student has to attempt compulsorily 5 questions in this section. In section B, only 5 questions are given. Each question are allotted to each module. But in these 5 questions, each question has internal choice. And each question consists 2 questions, A or B. In each question number 11 to 15, each question consists within the question two options are given, A or B. Student has to attempt either A or B. It is compulsory to attempt all the 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 questions, but there is no external choice, but each question has internal choice with A or B. So it is compulsory to attempt all the questions. Each question allotted to each module. And we get 2 questions from each module as an internal choice. Student has to study all the modules if he wants to attempt. He has to compulsory. He is compulsory to attend these 5 questions. So it is compulsory to students to study all the modules. If otherwise, if students has not studied any 1 or 2 modules, he has to forego the marks allotted to that module. So in this section B, there are only 5 questions given. All questions are compulsory, and within the question there are internal choice. So each question allotted 10 marks. So student has to attempt 5 questions. 5 into 10, 50 marks. In this section B, 50 marks questions are given. In section A, 20 marks. In section A, student has to attempt only 5 questions out of 10 questions. Each question 4 marks will be given. Total in section A, 5 into 4, 20 marks will be given. In section B, total questions have to be attempted by the students. It is compulsory to attempt all questions in this section. So students are given choice within the question, A or B. So total 50 marks are allotted to section B. To add this section A and section B, total 70 marks. In this 70 marks, 40% of the marks are compulsory obtained by the students. If a student does not obtain 40% marks, 40% means 70 into 40 means 7 4 28, and 28 marks has to 28 marks has to attempted by 28 marks compulsory got by the students. Students compulsory got the 28 marks in this external examination to pass in this. But overall, if student does not get any marks in internal evaluation, he has to get 40% marks of total 100 marks. So compulsorily student has to get 40% marks in this subject to pass in this subject. So look at the external evaluation. In this external evaluation, there are two assignments. After covering the 40% of syllabus, first assignment test will be taken, and after 80% of syllabus, second assignment test will be taken, and the average of sorry. In this internal examination, assignments, not test, two assignments will be given. After covering 40% of syllabus, one assignment will be given, and the 80% of syllabus, second assignment will be given. So in these two assignments, each assignment is awarded 2.5 marks. So total 5 marks will be allotted to these assignments. So in addition to the assignments, internal written test or internal test will be conducted. After completing the 40% of the syllabus, first internal test will be conducted, and the 80% of the syllabus, second internal test will be conducted. And in this internal, the average of two internal tests will be considered to the final award of the marks. So each internal test carries 25 marks. So in this 25 marks, 2 marks questions will be 5 2 marks questions, and 1 5 marks question, and 5 filling the blanks as to be attempted by the student. So if a student got suppose we have a doubt. If a student got 30 marks in internal evaluation and got 10 marks in external evaluation, if you got a doubt whether the student has passed or not. So in this internal evaluation, if a student got 30 marks, in external evaluation it is compulsory to get 40% marks in external evaluation or theory examination. It is compulsory. If student got 30 marks in internal examination, that marks are included in final marks, 100 marks. But to consider student is pass in this examination, it is compulsory. Student has to get 40% of the marks in theory or external examination. So to add the internal examination, total 40 marks or 40 out of 100, 40 marks compulsory. Student has to get 40 marks compulsory. Suppose a student got only 8 marks in internal examination. Only 8 marks in internal examination. In internal examination, student got only 8 marks. In theory, in external examination or theory examination, student got 28 marks. So total 28 plus 8 is equal to 36. That means student has not got 40% of marks out of 100 marks. So this shows that student only during the course the internal evaluation will be taken. After this course completion of the semester, there is another internal evaluation test will be not conducted for the students. So in this case, student got only 8 marks in internal evaluation. So in this case, student has to got 32 marks to pass in in this subject, because with this 32 only he get 40% of marks out of 100. So it is compulsory to get 40 marks in total 100 marks. In this 40 marks, suppose another suppose one other example, we have to take another example. Uh, in this case, we have to so in second case, suppose a student got in internal examination 28 marks. These are the internal examination marks. In external examination, student got 20 marks. The external examination or theory examination. In this case, we total marks he got 48. But in this case, student is not considered as pass in this subject. And student, why? Because in external, total 70 marks are there. In external, total, look at this, 70 marks are there. Student has to got 40% of marks in this 70%. That means compulsorily student has to got 28 marks in this external theory examination. So it is very important to prepare for external examination. In internal, uh, if you got 8 marks or 10 marks or 5 marks, it should not be, there is no problem for the students. But if student has got only 5 marks, he has to get 35 marks in external examination. So a student got 8 marks in internal total. He has to get 32 marks in external examination. Overall, for pass percentage, for pass percentage is, overall pass percentage is 40%. So in this 40%, out of 100, student has to got 40 marks compulsory. So in this external examination also 40%, it is compulsory to student that he has to got 40% marks, that is 28. But in the internal examination, there is no limit for pass marks. A student got 1 mark or 0 mark or 7 marks or 8 marks, it should not be any problem to the students. But the overall he has to combined in internal external marks plus internal, the combined marks he has to get 40% compulsory. So this is the uh, evaluation process in our college. So I hope all of you understand this. So thank you. So